Right, we are now going to move on to the second presentation of the afternoon, which is me, and this is me presenting the guidance that we've just issued around the traffic signals maintenance grant award, which some of you will be aware of. So I'm now going to try and share my screen. Okay then, so the transport capital block funding, integrated transport and highway maintenance specific determination for 20 and 21 is the title of this. This is a grant that many of you will have seen in the last few days that we've now issued. We've now issued an invitation for expressions of interest, and this is a piece of funding which is top sliced from the wider highway maintenance funding that local authorities receive each year to fix the highways. And fundamentally, this grant that we've issued is £15 million for repair, for maintenance and upgrading of traffic signals. But it's been issued in a slightly different way to the traditional to the wider highway maintenance funding, which is issued on a pro rata basis. It's issued by road length. It's issued by a certain number of factors that determines the grant that each local authority achieves. This grant, because it relates to traffic signals, has been issued with some challenges, and we are awarding the grant based on authorities giving evidence against a number of challenges, which shows that you have the right policies in place, that you have an understanding of your traffic signal maintenance requirements, that you have an understanding of work programs, of what needs to be fixed, that you have a vision of the future, and you have a clear strategy for how you will repair traffic signals. And the reason for doing this is because, of course, we are in a world, as we just heard, of increasing amounts of data, potentially increasing connectivity with connected vehicles, with autonomy, with new types of sensing. The types of equipment that we put in the highway now, which may have a 10 or 15-year life, are going to have to exist in a very different technological environment to the one we see today. So it's important that we use this money not only to fix broken traffic signals, but also to ensure that the investment that we make works for the future and works for the policy aims and directions of the country going forward, because this investment could be in the ground for a long period of time. But fundamentally, this is about repairing broken signals, and we've done some work, and I know some of you over the years will have been involved in work that the TTF has done to get a grip on understanding the level of maintenance backlog, the operational difficulties, the level of broken equipment that we see across the country around traffic signals. And we know that there is a serious problem out there. We know that a high proportion of England's traffic signals don't perform optimally, don't have all their detection working, don't adapt as they should, have very basic things such as rusty poles and old physical equipment. And we need to start to address that, and this fund is the start of the process of us doing that, which hopefully is something that can be taken forward in future years. But this is a chance to start at that, but do it in a way which also meets forward-looking policy aims and objectives. So what I want to do today, some guidance has come out, which has been issued to all chief executives of English local authorities who are eligible, and that's basically all highway authorities and combined authorities in England outside of London. Guidance has been issued to chief executives, and more recently it's also been issued to all the traffic signal engineers and traffic signal lead officers that we in the Transport Technology Forum and our partners in LCRIG, the Local Council's Road Innovation Group, are aware of. So this guidance has been quite widely circulated now, and what I want to do is just walk through it point by point and try and put some explanation around that. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll try and deal with them at the end of the presentation. So, what is this award? We've got £15 million to award, and we'll be awarding it in blocks of £300,000 to £500,000, which means we'll be funding between 30 and 50 local authorities. And this is based on the ability to demonstrate operation of policies and procedures, as I'm going to outline. The key point around this is that we're not asking you to produce very elaborate, complex new bid documents. We're not asking for an awful lot of new information and new thinking. What we're asking you to do is evidence the policies and procedures that you currently have in place around traffic signal maintenance, to give us certainty that the money will be spent as we want it to be spent. So this is very much about you providing us with evidence of what you do, not about doing a very complex new bidding process. So we're working with LCRIG, the Local Council's Road Innovation Group. We'll be using their website, and the website is now open, and I see some of you have started to use that website to make your application. I will, the second half of this presentation, I will walk through the actual questions that are on the website that we need you to answer. The process opened on the 12th of May and is open until sorry, the 12th of April, and is open until the 7th of May for you to make your applications. And you can go to the website. Each authority has a dedicated area. You can start to make your application. You can save it. You can come back. You can do the process over a number of days, or right up to the end of the period if you wish. And at the end of it, you can save it, and it will be submitted. So if you haven't received login details to do this yet, please contact LCRIG on this address. Now, I think between TTF and LCRIG, we have a good understanding of who is out there that should be informed of this. We've informed all of the authorities' chief executives. We also have a good list of who we think is actually responsible for signals maintenance in authorities across the country, and most people should have been contacted to receive a login to your authority's specific area of the website to allow you to start the process. If any of you think your authority hasn't, or if any of you want an additional login, or you think you've in some way been missed off all of this publicity, then please get in touch either with me or with signals maintenance at lcrig.org.uk, and we will be able to supply you with login details. Although we're using the LCRIG website to do this, the information you provide will come directly to DFT. It won't go through to LCRIG or to any other LCRIG members or to any other authorities. It's secure, and it's only for DFT. So the information that you provide will be stored within your part of the website. Myself in DFT and colleagues, we have access to look across everyone's submissions and grade them and assess the evidence that you provided to us. But that's where it stays. The information won't be spread more widely than that. However, if and when you undertake this submission process, you will see that at the end of the formal submission process, there is an additional page, which is an LCRIG questionnaire, which we would very much appreciate your help with. And this is just asking some basic questions about how many sets of traffic signals authorities have, roughly how much you pay per year to maintain them, how many people you employ, what type of communications you use, just some general stuff that surprisingly maybe we don't really know an awful lot about at the moment as a nation, and we should do. So this is just trying to get a clearer picture of how much stuff is out there, the types of funding people are using, how much effort is going into maintaining signals. Completing that questionnaire is not part of the submission process, and it's voluntary and you don't have to do it, but it will only take a few minutes, and it'd be very, very useful if as many authorities as possible could complete that, because that helps us build up a picture of this going forward. This funding has been specifically put in place to address the backlog in traffic signal maintenance and upgrading works in English local authorities. It's specifically for that. It cannot be used to replace existing funding, but it's to top up and add to existing work programs. This is additional funding. This is intended to expand the amount of traffic signals maintenance and upgrade work that goes on in England at the moment, not to replace existing funding. I know many authorities currently fund traffic signal maintenance and upgrade. I know that a lot of people find funding from other places and from existing resources to do that. But I think we accept that not enough is being spent on this at the moment. And we are seeing an increasing backlog of old equipment, of broken equipment, of not properly functioning signals. So this funding is very clearly to expand the amount of work we do in this area. And I think that the funding has been set at a level that we think is attainable. We realise that the maintenance and upgrade industry in the UK is quite small because it has been quite underfunded for a number of years. We know that most authorities' capacity to undertake traffic signals maintenance work is limited by resource and by staff availability, which is why that we're looking to award between £300,000 and £500,000 this, because we feel that's the level that authorities can hopefully, in most cases, attain on top of their existing resources. But this is for new work. This is to expand the amount of work that we do, and it's also to start to move forward and provide new technology and to ensure that the technology we have on street meets the coming technology and policy challenges. We're expecting one bid per highway authority area. Now, we understand that in a number of places there are quite complex arrangements around traffic signal maintenance. We understand there are areas where there are lead authority arrangements where one authority looks after traffic signals for some of its neighbours. There are joint procurement and joint operation and joint contracting arrangements between groups of authorities. There are areas where combined authorities, where transport for the wherever is responsible as a layer above the highway authorities. We are aware there are a number of complex operational arrangements around traffic signals, and we're not trying to exclude anybody from bidding for this. So we aren't particularly bothered who bids, but we are bothered that we only get one bid per physical highway authority area. We clearly don't want to be receiving more than one bid to fix the same set of traffic signals. That's clearly not what we want to do. But we are happy to receive bids from both local authorities and subnational transport bodies, as long as it's made clear that one is bidding for one part of the area, one is bidding for another. We are happy to receive bids individually or as a group from authorities where joint arrangements are in place, as long as it's clear who's bidding for which geographical area. Then we are willing to accommodate a wide range of possibilities. And again, this comes back to the challenges, which I'll explain in a few slides' time. We really need each authority who has a policy ownership of traffic signals, who has specific policies and specific activities around traffic signals to make a bid. So what we wouldn't want to see, for example, is a combined authority cutting and pasting the same policy responses into a number of bids and making them on behalf of a number of highway authorities where they're clearly all fundamentally the same thing. So we are flexible about this, but it is only to fund this once per area. So we expect this funding to be spent over a maximum of 24 months, to be completed in April 2023. We realised that because of the way the funding is arranged, we weren't able to get this out before the start of this financial year. It would have been good if we could, but that just wasn't possible for a number of reasons. So we are not expecting authorities to receive and spend this money within this financial year. We expect it to be done over 2 financial years. And one of the things we expect is for winning authorities to propose a work programme to us, so we can see what you intend to do with the funding you receive, what signals, what junctions, what sites, what corridors you intend to improve. And we expect to see some timescales on that, but we don't expect that to be completed within the year. And as you will have seen from if those of you that started the process, or when you do start the process, the LCRIG website is that you have your area for to enter your challenge responses into. We intend to use that to provide the space for you to upload details of your work programs and then update that as you complete the work, to give us an understanding of how that work is going. But these are the timescales that we are expecting the work to be completed over. So this one basically is just to reinforce the fact that funding will be awarded based on the demonstration of need and evidence of authorities understanding their estate, their maintenance priorities and their policy vision. It's about providing evidence. It's not about going out and doing your work. It's about showing us that you have plans in place, that you can mobilise, that you have priorities, that you understand how traffic signals and traffic management fits into wider policy aims, and you can demonstrate that to us. So the expression of interest process. So this section of the presentation is just to quickly go through what we are asking you to do. And the slides I'm going to show you in a couple of slides time are a replication of the questions that you're asked on the LCRIG website. So by explaining them, hopefully I can give you some guidance in how to fill that website in. So again, we want you to demonstrate a vision that shows that you have a clear understanding of the needs and priorities in your area, that you can plan for the future, that you have a plan for how you want to invest this funding, that you can show links to wider targets within transport and travel, and wider targets within your council's corporate plans or whatever, and that you could show an understanding of preparedness for future technologies and opportunities, that you understand the types of technologies and the types of things we should be providing today, which provide best value for money and which deal with some of the technological issues we've had in the past, and also prepare us for some of the challenges that are coming around technology and future transport use. We don't expect everyone to be able to fully answer all the questions. As I say, this is about providing evidence of what you are currently doing. And if you're not able to fully answer every question, that's not necessarily a problem. Don't worry about that. Tell us what you do have in place, what policies you do have, and so on and so forth. And basically, the thing we're looking for is need readiness and policy linkages. So the scale of the backlog that you have, the challenge that you face around traffic signal maintenance, the readiness. As I say, although this is a 24-month programme, in terms of spending money procuring and installing traffic signal equipment, even that's quite a tight program. 2 years to spend this sort of money is challenging. So we need to have some indication of readiness, that you are able to go out and spend this money, that you know what needs to be spent, you know where problems are in your area, you know what needs to be fixed, and that this can be done at pace. And again, policy linkages, some understanding of your understanding of how this money, how this improvement to traffic signals will play into wider policy areas. And again, that's useful because although we're not setting any evaluation standards or any evaluation practice around this, we do intend to work with the authorities that we give the funding to evaluate the effectiveness of the money you've spent. So having an ability to understand how certain policy levers are moved or affected or improved by investing this money will be useful for the future. So the 7 questions that we'll be asking you: provide a plan for improvements, demonstrate the overall rationale for interventions. Basically, this is about showing us that you have a plan for what you think needs fixing, that you have an asset management strategy, that you understand where problems are in your area, and that you can show us that you have an understanding and readiness to go out and spend the money to fix problems. Again, you have 500 words plus 1 supporting document to upload to the website to give us a flavour for that, so that you understand your traffic signals asset and what needs to be fixed. A prioritised upgrading plan. Again, based on that, how have you prioritised the signals work that you undertake? Do you have an ongoing plan? Again, we as I said earlier, we are interested in this funding being used as additionalities to fund additional work. Now, if that means you have a graded plan for how you intend to address maintenance and upgrade work over the next 5 years, if us giving you this money means you can accelerate that and you can treat more of the sites that you know you need to treat more quickly, that's the kind of thing we need to see. That's the sort of thing this funding should be aimed at. Again, having that plan, having that understanding of your asset, what needs to be fixed and what order you need to fix it in, is exactly the sort of thing we want to see here. And that again gives us some understanding, evidence of the fact that you know where this money should be spent should you receive it. And again, 500 words and one document can be uploaded to the website to evidence that challenge. The next one is around wider linkages, wider policy linkages. So carbon reduction, air quality, other areas where you have particular corporate aims or particular political desires, political imperatives. So that may be around vulnerable road users, it may be around promoting public transport or active travel modes. How do you intend to show that this investment will help with that? Will you be able to provide more bus priority? Will you be able to provide better pedestrian and cycle facilities at areas where you've identified that? Will you be able to make improvements in air quality management areas, etc., etc.? Showing linkage to wider policy, showing how this money will help your authority towards its wider policy aims is really what we're looking for in this section. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we're keen to show that you can monitor the work you've done, that you can show us on a very basic level. If you said you will upgrade 3 sets of traffic signal junctions and 3 mid-block crossings, prove that you've done that. If you have wider indicators, if you have a wider set of criteria that you use to judge traffic signal maintenance and condition, what is that? How will you use that? How will you use that to show that this money has been spent and achieve those wider plans? So again, what evidence do you have? What do you currently do that shows that you're able to monitor and use indicators to show the value of this investment and the benefit you've received from it? And technology vision. Now again, this will be different in different areas, but we suspect, and this goes back to what Graham and Jill were saying previously about how you understand the role of traffic technology in moving forward. So what type of technology vision do you have? And this can be from the very basic, very esoteric, such as describing how you intend to reduce your communication costs, how you intend to move to new technologies to ensure cheaper and more reliable vehicle detection, right through to if you have them, if your authority has them, targets around readiness for connected and autonomous vehicles, data sharing, providing new data sources, linking traffic signals to modelling and simulation packages, anything such as that, anything that shows the vision you have and the intentions you have to prepare for new technology. And I say this is a key part of this process. This is a key part of why we've organised it in this way, to ensure that we see how this investment plays to the future. As I say, I don't think this is as much of an issue with traditional highway maintenance, because I think tarmac roads and bridge repairs that we do today will probably see us for the next 15-20 years. I think with traffic signal equipment it is more of a challenge, because it's important that we put the right technology in the ground now to deal with the challenges that are coming. And what we don't really want to see is very traditional approaches of replacing broken old technology with brand new old technology. We want to see some vision for how this will move you forward. As I said earlier, we're also keen particularly in cities, to see how this supports other transport modes. So how does this support public transport, vulnerable road users, and active travel? Again, whatever policies you have in place, whatever policies your authority has in place, that you can demonstrate to us to show that you understand the role that traffic signals play in this. And I think it's important that we recognise the fact that traffic signals are about far more than regulating traffic at junctions. They are about ensuring equity of access to road space. They're about ensuring that vulnerable road users feel safe and can access the road network, and ensuring that public transport operates effectively. Traffic signals play a key role in all of these objectives, and again, showing policy linkages, showing how your vision for updating and improving traffic signal equipment fits into those wider policy objectives and the wider imperatives is something that we are very keen to see. And again, finally, future proofing. So demonstrate how this funding can add flexibility and to technological changes and new mobility ideas and open publishing of data. This builds on what we've spoken about earlier about technology readiness, but this is asking more about future policy aspirations. What beyond the basic technology of I want to use more effective communications, I want to use different detection technologies. I feel that we should be moving to simulation-based adaptive control or whatever. This is asking if you have any sort of vision, and if what that vision is around where you think the future will be, what future council policies or what future aspirations for your area do you think could be supported by starting to implement new technology on street? Again, this isn't a new piece of work. This is about you showing evidence of the policies and the aspirations you already have in place around this. And that's it. That's a quick walk through the guidance. The aim of this process is to be as light touch as possible. You will find the LQuig website very easy to use. It just asks you those 7 questions that I've just outlined to you. It gives you a space to type in your answers and upload a document, and that's really all it is. And so the guidance again is fairly lightweight. We want you to be innovative. We want you to approach this in a spirit of innovation and thinking widely about the benefits that we can get from better traffic signal maintenance and upgrading works in the UK. So we're not being overly prescriptive and overly prescriptive about how this works. It's really for you to show us what you can do, the evidence that you are ready to meet the challenge of receiving and spending this money. So I will now try and stop sharing my screen. And do we have any questions? Andy, are you on the call? Have you been looking at the questions as they've been coming in? Do you want to unmute Andy and just tell me if there are any particular questions that I need to target? Before we have lots of dead air while I sit here for a second, we do 3 questions.
Hi, so in the Q&A, I've published those questions to avoid people asking them twice, so they're all in the published bit of the Q&A.
Right. Okay. There we go. Let's get through them. Okay. So what have we got? So the first question I've got from Sunil from Coventry. Hi Sunil, can we bid for funding to develop a different way the detection system operates at local integrated cab management? Absolutely you can. Yep. As I say, fundamentally this is about repairing traffic signals. We want to see you spend the money in places where you currently have a problem, but absolutely we want to see new and innovative ways of dealing with those problems and solutions that mean in the future you're less likely to encounter the same maintenance and operational problems that you see today. So absolutely that's the case. What sort of, the next question from Anonymous is, what sort of evidence will you be looking for regarding linking of improvements to air quality reduction and AQ targets? Well, that's kind of up to you. What evidence do you have? And this is true of all the questions really, is, as I say, we're not being prescriptive here because we want to give people as wide an opportunity as possible to be able to show that they could receive this funding. So shows what you've done, shows what targets you have, shows how you monitor, shows what implementation plans you have. We're really open to whatever you can show, and that's why I keep using the word evidence rather than apply, because this really is about you providing us with evidence that shows you've thought about and tackled these challenges, not about you filling in very precise questions that we're asking. So really, whatever you think you have. Right, funding is capital, but normally maintenance is revenue. Can you clarify what types of work are eligible or ineligible? This is capital funding. So this is to undertake major refurbishment, repair, upgrade of traffic signals. It's not for sort of revenue type work. So my way of thinking about this is thinking about my days in local government. I would have a revenue budget which would allow me to go and do minor maintenance and fix minor faults. Each year I would put forward some capital schemes, some major refurbs, some new junctions, some major upgrades that I wanted to undertake out of the council's capital programme. That's the type of work that this is targeting. It's large scale capital upgrades. And the question from Keely: can an element of the funding be held for contingency for new innovations to be included in traffic signal assets after 2023? Probably not. No, I think going back to this idea of this being capital, this is really about putting together a programme, demonstrating that programme and delivering it within the 24 months. So we do have an aspiration that this becomes a repeated offer, and this isn't just one-off. I hope that's the case. I'm not able to say any more than that at this stage, and there's a lot to think about how that happens. But I think that this funding is very much about what we do in the next 24 months. It's about capital investment and improvements. There may well be an opportunity to fund further forward other ongoing improvements. But no, this really is about putting together a list of schemes you wish to deliver and delivering them based on the evidence that you provided around the challenges. Andy Graham, aspiration that this will be repeated in further years. Yeah, absolutely, that is an aspiration. There is no guarantee about that at the moment, but that is definitely something. I think there's definitely a case to do that, and we need to work through that. Can more than one person with a highways authority help submit a bid on the website? Yes, they can. And again, if you go to the email address, if you go to signalsmaintenance@lcrig.org.uk, they can supply multiple logins for different people in an authority. And once you've started the answers, you can save them, you can go back to them until you get to the end and press the submit button. You can go back and edit them. So more than one person can work on them. You can work on your submission over a number of days or up to the end of the programme. Oh, quite long. Projects to upgrade traffic signal infrastructure to make it future-proof, open data enabled will have software element. Given the government cloud-first policy and technology decisions, can you please confirm the eligible costs will include somewhere subscription fees? Yes, I think yes, absolutely. So if as part of this service you need to subscribe to a cloud service to deliver something which is eligible in terms of upgrade funding, then yes. Obviously not ongoing. This funding isn't available forever. So as an authority, you need to be certain that what you're doing is value for money. And once you've made that initial capital investment and bought that initial license, that you can make ongoing costs out of revenue funding. And again, I think there's a test there about if this is worth doing, if this is value for money, then it should be something that you want to carry on with after that. But yes, we certainly can include software and cloud hosting services as part of solutions that you implement around that basic understanding that this is to fundamentally repair and upgrade and maintain traffic signals. And if the solution that you choose to do that in an innovative and technologically forward-looking way is to buy cloud and hosted services or whatever, then yes, you can certainly use this funding to pay the initial setup and initial operational costs of that. And I think that's it. Any further questions?
There was one from Sunil about guidance on how we collect data. So we have a common platform. That's about the data guidance. So I think you've covered all the questions, Darren. Unless anyone's got any more ones to come in, or some few more coming in now.
Right. Okay. Well, let's just wait and see if anything else interesting comes in. Oh, 4 new questions. Yeah. So do upgrades to signals need to be costed? Yes, they do. We would like to see. What we will do is we will select the authorities from the challenges that we're currently running. to offer funding to, and we will expect those authorities to be able to provide a program of works. Now, obviously, that needs to be costed because you need to fit the works to the funding available. We need to see some demonstration of that. How will the value of funding allocated be made? It kind of won't be. It's up to you to propose a program and cost that. And as long as that program meets the aims, as long as you've demonstrated evidence against the challenges, then you go off and deliver that program. But we aren't. I think to maybe answer a question slightly beyond that, we're not expecting any particular cost benefit analysis around this. We are funding a program of upgrades. We expect that to be validated by the fact that you already have an understanding of your asset, you have a state, you have an understanding of what needs to be fixed and what you would fix if you had more funding to do it. The recording will be made on our YouTube channel. Yeah, as Andy says, that's the TTF, so that's the TTF website. Is this in that title to be incorporated in the IF questionnaire? No, this is separate. This is a separate process, particularly for this grant funding, and won't be used at this stage in any wider funding. Obviously, as I said, there's a separate LQUI questionnaire on traffic signal state and operation. I encourage you to fill that in. The results of that will be made available anonymously more widely. And I think that's it. I think we've answered all the questions, and I think we're running ahead of time. But as I said, I didn't really want to say a lot more than that at the moment. I didn't want to say much beyond guide you through the guidance that we've issued and the process that's in place. And I would now, I would encourage you, any of you who represent a highway authority with traffic signals responsibility, to go to the website to think about the questions and provide the evidence that you can. Thank you all. Graham, do you want to make any parting comments before we close the session?
You caught me on the hop there, Darren. No, I think you covered that really well. It's been a really excellent session. Many thanks. Great.
All right. Well, thank you all for attending. We've had a great turnout today. We've had over 60 people in the session, which I think is great. I guess that might be to do with the fact there's £15 million of grant funding available. Who knows? It may be just to come and hear me, Jill, and Graham. I think I'll assume that's why you're all here. So it's great to see you all. Please attend the next session. We will be putting up data. We'll put up information soon about the next fireside chat. And I do realise we need to find another name better than fireside chat as soon as we're heading into the summer. But the next one will be coming soon. You have my email address and you have the LQUIC email address. If you have any questions about this or any questions about the local authority data guidance that we heard about earlier, then please contact Graham or Jill. And thank you all. Thank you for attending.